The paths to success or failure differ in that success requires slight course corrections and perseverance. My friends, that's it. Each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes learning just a little better every day how to follow movement of stocks, ETFs, the things that you're interested in tracking, because what's happened in the past is our road path to the future. We have all those little sayings like the trend is your friend until it ends, when it bends, all those types of things. And that is very true. And the trend has been our friend since it ended on the downstroke back in, what was that? Early April. Then 2 dead weeks. And then there in late April, it started moving up and it has just continued up. And I'm talking about stocks here. Both the S&P and the NASDAQ were pulling back a little bit as we start the week. Now, if you look at where we are on the 2-day and where we are on the half-day, you saw where things were up in the morning. I remember when I checked in the morning, markets were up and then pulled back in the afternoon down 0.20%. As, of course, we start this week, you see a green up candle. You look at where the highs were, like the green spinning top, where we thought we might have a rotation over back on the week beginning the 28th. The high that week, 639.85. Last week, 637.65. This week, the high, 638.95. So we've not hit the high of 2 weeks ago yet as we start this new week. Not a lot of volume. Not a lot of volume on the 2-day either. Not a lot on the weekly. And at the end of the day, we did see as things pulled back, we got up to average volume, but did not in the morning. So again, I keep asking, are we topping? Could be, could just be digesting gains and there'll be a catalyst to knock it further up. But I'm a little doubtful. But again, as far as our math goes and the other things, we still see things continuing to climb. But remember, it's learning what to see when we hit those interim highs with volume, when things die on the vine, and we can tell from our past experience on each of the ETFs typically how things go, how they react to catalyst, exogenous events, things that happen in the market that you've experienced over years. That's why we ask you to spend 10 to 15 minutes each and every day, and we really emphasize each and every day. Why? Because you learn the nuances of the stocks and the ETFs that you track. That's why we always encourage our students when we're doing the teachings and I'm doing the seminars, and it is to find 2, 3, 4 of your favorite ETFs and stocks on your own that you track, that you become personal with. They become like your children. Those of you who have kids, you know their personalities and how they react. That is what your favorite stocks and ETFs that you trade become. They become like family members and you understand them. Now, sometimes they'll do crazy things, but most of the time it's pretty predictable. Now, we look at the NASDAQ. It pulled back 0.30%. We can see where it notched up a good move in the morning and then a doji in the afternoon. Again, below average volume both in the morning and afternoon. Now, let's go and check out the NASDAQ over the past 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, the high, 574.63. Last week, 574.77. This week, 576.80. So again, we are knocking it up higher. It did pull back at the end of the day. But again, little green candle moving up nicely, higher high. So the NASDAQ still has some steam in it. It's above the 2-day trend line. The weekly trend line on the 2-day chart and above on the half-day chart. So a little more steam in the NASDAQ. Again, we'll continue to watch and see as this week goes along. If indeed things are going. And again, we've popped up a little higher, even though we did blow off a little more steam than the S&P. I mean, again, down 0.20 versus 0.30. Not much, a pretty flat day at the end, but did have more energy pushing it up in the morning. So we'll keep an eye on things. We're still long on both of those. What do we see going with 20-year U.S. government bonds up 0.11%. But again, starting the week off with red volume means it opened lower than the prior close. So that's telling us something. You can see a doji forming on the 2-day as things have decelerated. Went from a green up candle to a green spinning top to almost a doji to this week a red doji and volume dropping. So we'll keep an eye on things. Volume hasn't been up to average since last Wednesday as things have been decelerating. So again, we'll keep an eye on TLT. What about gold? Gold pulling back the most for the day, 1.44%. We can't tell what the hell gold's doing. You know, it popped up back in June and then just sort of, you know, we saw a little bit of energy that week, the 21st of July, but then the week before last down, last week up, this week red. I mean, decent volume the 3 prior weeks, but again, 3 6-days, 3 2-day candles of up movement. And then, of course, pulling back strong. So we don't have a trend on gold. It's sitting right there on the weekly trend line. I wouldn't even call that a trend line. It's almost a horizontal line. You know, how does a corpse lay? You know, it lays horizontally. Well, that's pretty much what we have here, a corpse move. We can't tell what anything's going. It's dead as far as us being able to chart it. We're going to have to see some move on gold. Lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Some energy, particularly in the morning, jamming up. Losing a little bit of it in the afternoon, but look, no volume here. No volume. Got to go all the way back to Wednesday, again, of last week in the morning to even have average volume or above. We still haven't hit it over the last few days. You can see on the weekly chart while it's been going down also. So again, 2-day popping up nicely in the morning. A candle's okay as far as the high, 34.17. We've seen 34.55 back on the 14th when it hit the past high. So not too far off that, but again, waiting to see just how this is going to continue to go. And if we're going to get some volume to back up the move, or if it's just hopefulness. Remember, volume, those of you who hadn't taken our volume training, I'm going to put that into today's video again. I want you to really understand the interplay between volume and price because that tells you the psychology of what's going on. Take that training. You will like it. It's at the end of today's video. That's where we are, folks. I thank you so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. Patreon members, thank you so much for your support.